boy, this movie's crazy.
Yeah, 1000%,
This movie
1000%,
is like this is a murder fest from start to finish.
from start to finish.
Buddy was serving motherfuckers the whole damn time, the
I,
entire time.
so before, I would like to say before we like really get into it, creators from outside of the U.S. they just do it differently. Like from special effects to storytelling to just how real everything looks. They just take it to a different level. You know, South Korea, India, Japan, China, wherever it is, for whatever reason, um, they just take it to a whole nother level with how surreal, how real everything feels, looks, etc. I would say that they also do amazing with like emotions, like being able to showcase emotions on screen and really get you to dive and be on the side of whatever said character it is. In this film, I count like off the top of my head like three times where our main character just took it to a whole nother level of emotion. Like something happened and he just like, I need to be more ruthless. You know what I'm saying? Like he just kept upping the ruthlessness, which I just didn't even think could happen. But there's just this one scene where he pretty much he cut dude's head off to like the last bit with that machete, not the machete. What's the big square? Son, it looks so real. Like it looked real. It's I just thought like, dang, did they really cut dude's head off? And I think that's great. I think that's some of the best aspects of filmmaking that's possible.
Yeah, that was a lot to unpack, and of course, they did it the right way with the setup. Every movie needs a good setup. You need to know like what's going on. They establish their love interests. They
Mhm.
establish who the characters were. They're these soldiers, but they're commandos, so they're a little bit more
Yeah,
advanced than a regular soldier. So
right.
off rip, their fighting is a little different. It's a little bit more technical and whatnot. And then once the craziness starts to happen, it just gets worse and worse as you
Mhm.
go along, and in a good way. Like the stakes are becoming higher, like they're literally going all the way up as the film kind of goes along, and as you get introduced to the villains, these thieves, these bandits that come on this train and they're trying to rob everybody, you just start, picking apart like, okay, this guy's the leader and these are the people that are following him. Oh, wait, this guy is really in charge and he steps in, and you know, you get to kind of see a little bit of both sides of the equation, a little bit more than what we're used to seeing, when it comes to like villains in movies, especially if we're talking about like like a traditional Hollywood studio film. We're
Mhm.
used to, seeing the villain just kind of like 10% of the time. He does his little diabolical shit in the background, and then we
Mhm.
go back to what the protagonist is doing, and we kind of,
Follow
follow
that
him.
along.
Right. In this film, they're on this train, in this tight train, so it's like you're kind of just shifting in between like both perspectives, and you're really kind of getting into the nitty gritty of the relationships that are happening. you know
Mhm.
people are dying, people are, going, like you said, going through a bunch of, these crazy emotions on both sides. And
Mhm.
I thought that was really great too, just kind of seeing how the emotions affected. I think his name is Amrit, that's the name of the main
Mhm.
character. How the emotions affected him, and he just like pretty much turned it on 100. And even when the audience thought he was at 100, he went even higher. And
Right.
then they did it to us again.
Right.
So that was really brilliant.
And then the kills was amazing. Like I just thought every kill was just plan it perfectly. Like there wasn't it was repetitive, but it didn't feel repetitive, right? Like because they're blades, not there's no real guns. They have guns, but it's not like they're using guns majority of the time. So it's like it's blades, it's fighting, it's pushing, it's like they go get to that point of almost getting knocked out, but the adrenaline or the sheer willpower is kind of like keeping them from not being knocked out. And my some of my favorite aspect of it is like there's a lot of humanity in the space where you think there isn't no humanity, right? So like at the beginning, he's not really trying to kill anybody, right? He just want to knock him out, get him out the way. But then events happen and he has to take it up a notch. Then events happen, he has to take it up a notch. And then before you know, you got that fire scene, which I thought was insane. I don't know how they edit that to look that good, but that's what I mean by like it's like outside of the US, there's certain aspects that they just do amazing. Like it's just like that's great work. You know what I'm saying? Like that's amazing how they was able to do that from acting to CGI to everything about what they got going on. And of course, like any action film, there's always the super you know aspect of things like dude got shot in the arm, I mean shot in the shoulder, and then stabbed in the exact same spot he got shot in, but was still able to move that arm. Like that arm is done. Like that just that bullet in that arm is done. He's not moving that he's not moving that anymore, let alone the pain. Like I've always told myself create when I create, I'm putting that in my story where people pass out from pain. Like pain so much, people pass out. You know what I'm saying? And I always wanted to implement that in my stories where that pain is so high that you just pass out. Just go ahead and lay down for a couple of hours because that pain is that crazy. Um, but yeah, I thought the film was amazing. I think that was probably so far it might be the best film I've seen. It's up there. At least it's top two, top three of best films I've seen so far. It was a good story. Like it's an action film on top of that, so a lot of times the story is not as important in a sense. But it was a good story. It's a believable story. The acting is good. The casting looked perfect. I personally don't have experience with seeing these actors in other pieces. So this was my first time seeing most of those actors that was in the project, and everything was believable. I believe the bad guy. I believe the crazy bad guy. I believe all of the villains. You know what I'm saying? Like every aspect that seemed, interesting. You go into some of these projects, at least myself, I go into some of these projects knowing that there was going to be something stupid. A character does something stupid that you think that you don't agree with. Um, that was kind of limited to the part, and they was able to keep it fresh, keep it interesting, keep me glued to the screen. I don't think I looked away from the screen the entire film. So I thought it was dope.
Yeah, and to add on to that, you got to realize the complexity of the fighting choreography that had to be
Hmm.
done in this movie. Imagine
Absolutely.
whooping 40 people's asses on a train that you can't even stretch your arms like
Right.
all the way out. Like you can't even do that, but they're literally on the train, you know, punching people, grabbing them by the arm, breaking their arm, slamming his head into the wall,
Hmm.
kicking and doing all types of spin kicks and all that stuff. Like I was thinking about that the whole time. I know during like rehearsals, somebody had to hit their arm on the wall by accident somehow. Like that was a tight
Absolutely. Yeah.
corridor.
Tight.
And I applaud them for being able to pull that off, especially with that big dude. I know you remember that big dude with the blue track jacket.
Right.
I
Uh
call him
huh.
a meathead because it seemed like all he wanted to do was just rip things apart and then think nobody's supposed to
Uh
hit
huh.
him back. Like, and that's another thing too. They
He
did an
was getting it
excellent.
though.
Yeah, yeah.
He was going to work though for sure.
Listen, they did an excellent job with making us hate the villains because that uncle with the sweater vest, he ain't shit. I'm telling you, like
None of them are.
when I first like none of them are, but I really felt like he was the worst one because first of all, you recruited 40 people in your family to become thieves to come rob a train, and you're literally terrorizing people's like innocent people's lives. And then when one of your 40 family members gets killed, you on the ground in fucking tears like somebody like you didn't deserve what you had coming. Like that type of stuff, that's when I was like, I can't. I really hate these villains. And that's when I was like, all right, I give credit to the writer for doing that because they perfectly placed like just actions and behaviors that the villains did to just make you hate them even more. And that contributed
Mhm.
to the main character getting stronger and actually kind of building upon, his inner strength and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And it was just a lot was happening. And then that music was fire. That
Music was
music was
fire.
crazy.
Music was
That
fire.
that music was crazy, especially
Mhm.
during those key fighting moments
Moments. Yep.
when again, I don't want to give it away, but I think it was like the very last time he had that emotional breakthrough, and he was like, "All right, I'm on 1,000. Can't nobody, nobody's gonna fuck with me. Nobody's gonna kill me right now."
Hmm.
That track that they had playing in the background kind of had you hyped in the movie theater. Like it really had you hyped, not only because visually he's fighting these people, but pairing that with the music that they had, it was crazy. They did an excellent job with that.
Excellent job. I 100%. And we honestly need to see more of these. I would love to see. Obviously, I do my research, tap in, and really go out there and look for it. But yeah, these films was great. Like being able to just see authentic action. You know what I'm saying? Straight to the point. Let's get this shit popping. It wasn't like this long, introduction. Now, speaking of long, pause. I would say that this might be the craziest cold opening I've ever seen. It was like 45 minutes in to the film, and then we finally got the title card to tell us the film. That was dope. For whatever reason, I was like so into the film that I didn't even remember if they did it or not. And then he's face first, face full of blood on the ground, and all of you see is kill come up on the screen. That was dope. I don't know why. I just felt that was interesting. And if that's a 45-minute cold open is crazy to think about. And then there's still plenty of film that's after that. It wasn't like it was 45 minutes and then 30, 40 minutes later the film was done. It's plenty of film, it's plenty of action that's after that comes after that cold open. So what was your thoughts on that scene that in the theater, 44, 40 minutes or whatever it is into the film, then you get the title card.
That was interesting. That's definitely different. I don't see that happen a lot. I always see it happen in the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So when I seen that, I was like, okay. And it was funny because everyone in the theater was like, "What? That's it?" Like people thought the
Yeah.
movie was about to finish.
Yeah.
And but nah, like it kept going on after that. And I don't remember if it was like 45 minutes or like an hour or something like that. It almost seemed like that was the low point in the story because
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm not gonna say what happened, but it almost seemed like that was like the low point in the story where
Right.
he would now, have to
Turn up.
really turn up and dig deep and figure out his way out of this current situation because he pretty much has nothing to lose type of deal. And yeah, they definitely they set themselves apart by doing it. So I'm like in between certified and people's choice. Honestly, this is
I would
this
give
is
it
this is a re-
certified.
this is really good.
Yeah,
This is a really good
I would
action
drop.
movie.
Yeah, I would drop to certified. It's one of the better films that I've seen this year, in my opinion. In my opinion, so far, this is one of the better films, and it wasn't on my radar. I think I seen the trailer like on TikTok or something like that. I came across the trailer on TikTok, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Watched it a couple of times, and I was like, "Nah, this is OD." Like just the aspects of what they showed in the trailer, I was interested. But like I said, I'm down to see almost anything. Like like I've been going to the AMC Mondays where it's just like a random movie. So actually be sitting there watching some of the stuff. So um yeah, I have no problem giving that a certified.